Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. I'm the host, Mitchell Renz. Today's show, I got 8 players that I want the Raiders to target if and, well, when they are cut by their current NFL teams. The first player that I'm going to bring up here, it's A.J. Bouye. Now, what you're going to see on screen is how much A.J. Bouye would make, and then if he's cut, how much the team would save. So by cutting Bouye, you save $11.4 million. That's the Jags. The Jags don't have money, period. They can't hang on to Bouye. They are negative in terms of cap space. Now, for me, I liked AJ a lot, and it's kind of crazy to think that just a few years ago, the Jags had Jalen Ramsey and AJ Bouye, arguably the best 2 cornerbacks in the league. Now they're not going to have either. The reason why I think that I love AJ on our team, tough dude, can play the position well, and can be our number 1 cornerback. One of the reasons why I don't really want to go out and pay Slay a lot of money is because I think once Bouye hits the market, he's going to make a lot less than a player like Slay. He can still play at a high level. If I had to put my money on where he's going to end up, I think he probably goes back to Houston. But if you want to build your defense around some cornerbacks, talented cornerbacks, go out and get Bouye who can cover your bigger receivers. I mean, he's 28 years old. I still think he plays pretty physical. Yes, he's coming off one of his worst years. But I also think it has a little bit to do with the fact that he was on the Jags. He was on the field all the time. And if there's one thing that I've learned from covering Ramsey, the defensive players and players in general did not like playing underneath or for the Jags. So I want you guys to subscribe to the Raiders Report. My goal is to hit 40K. I want to get to 40K subscribers by March. I need 1,800 more. I'm trying to throw a freaking awesome party for the Raider fans in the NFL Draft. Chat Sports told me they would help me out if we get to 40K subscribers. So, go subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to Gary. Shout out to Jason, Rozier, and 42D Barrier. I appreciate that you guys have subscribed to the channel. Go find your biggest Raider fans that you know. Send them the link below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Let's grow this thing. Let's get to 40K. And once I get to 40K, we got to celebrate. You guys let me know what I need to do. Next player, let's get it. Sammy Watkins. Let's be real. The Chiefs, they're cutting this dude. So $21 million cap hit. $14 million in saving when he is cut. If the Raiders want to go out and get an outside receiver that I think you might actually be able to get at a discount that's got speed, it's Sammy Watkins. Now, Watkins, that week 1 game, dude puts up like 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he actually started to play pretty well in the playoffs as well. I just think that the Chiefs fans don't appreciate Watkins enough, okay? You got Tyreek, you got Travis Kelce, you got a lot of speed there. Watkins, though, actually opened up a lot for Patrick Mahomes, and I think could be a big help to this team in general. I don't think he'd be the number 1 wide receiver. You could still draft a player like Jerry Jeudy, like a CeeDee Lamb, but do you see how old Sammy Watkins is? Am I the only one that when I saw that he's 26 years old, I was like, really? Sammy Watkins has been what seems like in the league for like 7 years because he came out super young out of Clemson. Because he came out, I think, a little bit, that's a good way to put it. When he first came out of Clemson, I thought this guy is going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And I get it. He hasn't lived up to the hype. But I still think at a discount, Watkins is the player that we should target. So should the Raiders sign Sammy Watkins if and when he is cut? Type S for sign or type L for leave. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you might get hit with an ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to comment on this, because I'm going to make it the pinned comment. Should the Raiders sign Sammy Watkins? Type S for sign, or you type your L for leave. Next player is from the Bears. It's Prince Amukamara. Now, while it's hard, I think, to part ways with a reliable starting cornerback, I think the Bears have to do it because I don't think they have a lot of money. So, Prince is set to make $10 million. If he's cut, they save $9 million. The biggest concern right now for the Bears, I would probably say it's A, keeping Khalil Mack happy, because there's been trade rumors around him, but it's also figuring out what you got at quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky. Now, I think that Prince Amukamara gets cut. I still think that he's able to play the position well, and sure, he's not what he used to be. But if you want to talk about a smart and intelligent player, this is the guy to do it. And I get it. He's going to be 30 years old, or he is 30 years old. But he is still able to play at a pretty high level. And if you want to be able to train some of your younger cornerbacks to play, I think, at a high level and to be physical, I think Prince Amukamara is a good player to go out and target. I also want you guys to do this deal, okay? BetDSI, they're hooking us up here with the best deal on the internet. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code Raiders120. Gets you 120% deposit bonus. Yeah, Jacob Cruz, David Rodriguez, Salty, Meat Hook, I'm looking at you. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo Raiders120. Gets you 120% deposit bonus. I'm betting on XFL games this year. I'm betting on NBA. And I'm betting on the Mets to win the World Series. Am I crazy? A little bit. Next player I'm going to talk about is Jinora Jenkins. Now, the Jackrabbit is a player that we've talked about a little bit on the Raiders Report before. When he was with the Giants, it wasn't pretty. But I think that's just because he didn't want to play for the New York Giants. Now, if you go out and get a veteran, and let's be real, John Gruden loves himself some veterans. He's on the Saints, and the Saints, I think, would like to bring him back. The only way I think Jenkins stays on the Saints is if he restructures his contract, because it's, again, a team that just does not have a lot of money. Now, I would go out and try to get Jenkins on like a 1-year, maybe 2-year deal. The only thing that scares me a little bit was with the Raiders, every time that they've signed a veteran recently, it hasn't worked out. I still think Jinora Jenkins can play at a high level. And I still think Jinora Jenkins at this point could be a top 20 cornerback. So we talked about Prince. We talked about Janoris. I want you to pick one, okay? If you had to pick just between these two players, I want you to think about age. I want you to think about longevity, fit, price. Who are you going with? Type J for Janoris, or I want you to type P for Prince. I'll give some shout-outs here. Savior Charles says neither. If you don't want either of them, type your N for neither. Enrique says P. Danny says J. Gary F says P. Ricky says P. Seeing a lot of P's rolling here for me. I'm going to tell you my P for Prince Amukamara as well. The next guy is also from the Saints, and it does fill a major need. It's Kiko Alonso. Now, I think Kiko was actually having a pretty solid year in 2019 before he suffered, yes, his third ACL injury. Now, I've torn my ACL before. Didn't feel good. Can't even imagine what it would feel like for the third time. However, doctor says he's going to be okay for week 1. I get it. It's what he's probably been told to say. But the fact that the injury happened so late, the fact that the injury happened in the playoffs, the fact that he's 29 years old, it does scare me. But this is something that I will say multiple times here on the Raiders Report. You need to roll the dice a little bit. And if we can go out and get Kiko at a value, a player who has had over 100 tackles in 2018, 2017, and 2016. We need depth. And if it takes Kiko a little bit to get it going, I'm okay with that. That's why I want Kiko Alonso. Another linebacker that we're going to talk about on today's show, Dante Hightower. Now, I know it's at times funny. Some of you guys get mad at me for bringing up Patriots players because you don't want Patriots players. But, if you don't like Dante Hightower, I don't really know what you're looking for. I think he's an unbelievable dude on and off the field. And again, he would add solid depth, which at a position that, let's be real, I will still say is our biggest need. I'll also give this point. One of the reasons why everyone loved Vontaze Burfict so much is because he was a leader on defense, because he wore the C on his jersey. Why not go out and get Dante Hightower and make him a captain? Because I think has the ability to lead this defense. He can still play. He's a physical dude. I think the Patriots end up bringing him back. But if you want a linebacker who can be that quarterback, if you will, on defense, who can just teach a lot of our younger players what to do and where to be, and to not give up big plays, because a lot of times big plays happen when you don't know what your assignment is. I think Dante Hightower is a player where he does not get nearly enough credit for the Patriots defense being as good and reliable year after year. So we talked about Kiko Alonso. We talked about Dante Hightower. I want you to pick a linebacker. So type K for Kiko. Type D for Dante. I think both these players, honestly, I wouldn't be against adding either of them. Adding both of them. We need depth at that position. We'll give some shout-outs here. Savior Charles, Raider War Report, Manny, all going with D. I'm going to take a drink because there's a lot of D's. Yep, I'm going to say 95% D's. which is the correct answer. So pick a linebacker, Kiko or Dante Hightower. Let's talk about Tyrone Crawford now. A player who I like a lot. And again, it's not a major need for the Raiders, but I still am a believer that he's going to be able to play. Now, obviously, 2019, he was impacted by an injury, but the fact that he's reportedly willing to take a pay cut, yes, it's probably to stay with the Cowboys, I think speaks a lot about Crawford. Right now for the Raiders, you go out, you get a new defensive line coach, you're trying to figure out what you got in the defensive coordinator in Paul Guenther. I think one of the biggest reasons why the Raiders struggle on defense, you don't have a leader out there. And I get it. I like Max Crosby. And I like Cleveland Ferrell. Jonathan Hankins is solid. Mo Hurst did take a little bit of a step back. PJ Hall as well. Solid players. But sometimes you do need a veteran presence. And at age 29, coming off an injury, if the Cowboys don't want him because they got to invest in other positions, I would be totally on board bringing in Crawford, who can be a leader on and off the field and who can help some of our younger defensive players know what they need to do. Now, I see a bunch of people saying, Mitch, how can I get those t-shirts? How can I get those t-shirts? I got you. Go to chatsports.com/Raider shirts. As low as $15. Tell me where you guys are going to be able to find Raiders t-shirts under $20. So every single t-shirt that you're about to see on screen here, you got black ones, you got gray ones, you got white shirts, any kind of shirt you want. chatsports.com/Raider shirts. So this deal, limited time only, and I'm sure since it's on the show, they're going to go off the shelves quick. So if you want, as soon as the show ends, or you know what, you can do it now. I won't get mad. If you go to chatsports.com/Raider shirts, get you guys some new gear, represent your team all the time. I've met a few people. Shout out to Josh. I've met this man 10 times. Every single time he has got a Raiders shirt on. I know that's how you guys roll. Just trying to help you out. Last player on my segment here, it's Tony Jefferson. And yes, Tony Jefferson has already been cut by the Baltimore Ravens. This happened on February 14th. Probably not the greatest Valentine's Day gift you can get. I think he'd be a very good fit for the Raiders defense. I know that there's a popular article right now floating out in the Raiders circle that says he's the perfect fit and that Tony Jefferson is an upgrade over Karl Joseph. That I don't agree with. I do think Tony Jefferson is a very good player, but the ACL injury in October does scare me a little bit. The reports, right now are that he is going to be ready for week 1. But getting Tony Jefferson and Jonathan Abram is a fun idea, but I'm still kind of on board for bringing back Karl Joseph. Bringing back Karl Joseph on a 1-year, $4 million deal, if he would take it. Maybe 2 years, $10 million. Tony Jefferson is a good player, but if the Raiders want to decide to move on from Karl Joseph, you could look at Jefferson being in silver and black as a very, very real possibility. So for those of you that watched until the end of the video, my birthday's on February 20th, okay? I want you to hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Give me a follow, and I want you to DM me how old you think I am. The first person to do it, I'm going to hook you up with something. So hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.